Alright kids, in 2010 a documentary debuted about a man who got in a long distance online relationship with a woman and her family, whom he got to know over the course of a few months. As it turned out, the woman wasn't who she said she was. Actually, she was a few people. The documentary was called Catfish, and this genre of deceitfulness became to be known as catfishing. From this documentary came the Catfish franchise, a TV show now in its 7th season on MTV hosted by Aave, the man on the wrong end of being catfished. Oh, MTV stands for music television. And no, there's no music on that channel. There used to be, but not black artists once upon a time. Catfishing also spawned hatfishing, which is this, and today's topic, blackfishing. Now, blackfishing is essentially white people, white women in particular, making their skin look darker in order to look black or ethnic. But as you'll see, this isn't limited to just your looks.
Representation matters. Two words that I've heard consistently throughout my life, and more so in the last couple of days, all because of the way I chose to wear my hair to work. Most of the time in its natural state or even in natural hairstyles. This style in particular, this whole bun situation, you see it? It's what caused quite the stir online. Overwhelmingly, many of you saying the style is professional, while some others saying, hey, not so much. Well, here we are at another intersection of black hair and what's considered professional in the workplace or even in schools. The question is, who determines what's professional these days? And why do some people feel like natural black hair and hairstyles are a debatable topic? It's not.
That was Tashara Parker. She does traffic for a Dallas area news station where a viewer saw her buns and decided to write in to express their displeasure about her hair. It just had to have been a white man. Why do they have so much problems with buns? Black hair is something we've already talked about, and I don't need to elaborate further on what Tashara Parker said because it was perfect. You know what this truest essence of black wonderdom made me think of? Jesessica Krug. This would have never happened to Jesessica Krug. Now kids, I didn't tell you about her, but she is a white woman from Kansas who blackfished her way into a job as a professor. Because of her fair skin and her hair texture, no one would ever call into question her looks. I'm not going to make this entire episode about her, but I delayed talking about her situation because I wanted to know how her life has turned out. About 6 weeks ago from the day that I'm taping this, she revealed that she is not who she said she was. She revealed that she was not actually black. Now, I couldn't find the information and I looked, so I'm unable to answer these questions, but will there be a press tour? Will she have a book release? What kind of job will she land next? And who will replace her in her former position? I will say, while she pretended to be multiple versions of black, she didn't paint her skin, so when? I say that because Rachel Dolezal, who actually looks like this, was exposed by her family for actually being white and continues to present herself this way. As I mentioned earlier, blackfishing involves artificial tanning and using makeup to manipulate facial features in order to appear to have some type of black African ancestry. And if it sounds familiar to you, it's because you already know of this as blackface. Neither Krug or Dolezal needed to be black in order to fight for blackness. They can be white allies and be welcome as such. So this must mean that they want to advance themselves in their careers, right? So what can being brown do for you? We know its influence on pop culture, but can it help you personally and professionally? Do black women get more opportunities than white women? Well, in terms of college degrees, black women are more educated than their male counterparts. Studies show that employers call back more for resumes with white-sounding names than those that included ethnic-sounding names, even when the qualifications listed were identical. Despite this, black women, black people in particular, don't want others to question our validity in corporate America, the office, or any other place of employment. Because of affirmative action, there's this idea that we're getting jobs that we aren't qualified for. With that said, when it comes to skin color, with all of the tanning beds and spray tanning going on, white women seem to think that being brown and making their complexion darker makes them look better. But not on black women, and not too dark either. Trying to sound black? Build some credibility? Use African American vernacular English. We've already talked about it. Internet culture? Stay on Twitter. AAVE won't be attributed to black women. And of course, black hairstyles, trendy on white women, but on a black woman, ghetto and unprofessional. White women couldn't even imagine what someone like Tashara Parker would have to do in order to get to where she is. Go into a job interview and wonder if someone's going to think you have an attitude problem based on how dark your skin is, or you question if you can wear your hair the way it grows out of your head without someone thinking it's not presentable, or not being able to speak the way you and your people talk, despite these things leading the way in pop culture. Remember that time I learned the savage dance? No? Good. Well, when looking up tutorials about how a 37-year-old man can do that and the renegade dance, I found that most of the tutorials were instructed by white kids whose videos were more popular than the black girl who created the dance. Racism and colorism plays a role in all of this, and honestly, as much as black people question black authenticity, who's black enough, I'm surprised it reaches some and not others. Speaking of questioning blackness, look, I plan on talking about voting next week, but for now, I gotta mention Kamala Harris. When Joe Biden announced her as his choice for vice president, I thought, not only is this a huge opportunity for Kamala, a walking, talking, breathing barrier breaker, but she will continue to clear obstacles for any black, indigenous, women of color moving forward. If elected, Kamala will be the first woman to become vice president, the first black person to become vice president, and the first Asian person to become vice president. Her mother is Indian, and Kamala's blackness is called into question because of it. And don't get me started on the birther thing that briefly showed up too. In 2008, when Obama was elected as the first black president, this country had the greatest voter turnout in US history by percentage and was highlighted by the fact that black, brown, and native people, along with young people, voted in record high numbers as well. Overall, among all racial, ethnic, and gender groups, black women had the highest voter turnout rate in 2008's general election, a first. But black women live in a country where Tashara Parker's authenticity is being punished and Jesessica Krug's deceit was rewarded, and in the process denying access to spaces that real black women could have held. If you want to know what direction you should go in, follow black women, the most influential yet inflicted, the highly desired yet despised. Black women should have a TV show where they catch people trying to be black. Fishing Net on country music television. Somehow, catfish is still successfully on the air, which means that despite bringing about awareness, people are still deceiving others on the internet and people are still falling for it. And even though Neve shows people how to catch others, people still aren't savvy enough to use those tools he uses to keep people from what he experienced. This proves that blackfishing isn't going anywhere, but neither will black culture or black people. So we're gonna be all right. Haircut.